Welcome in everyone to the Larsonland podcast. I'm your host, Sawyer Hill, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Dylan Bradshaw. We come in here every single week and talk about all things involving the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Young Money, Kyle Larson. Dylan, nice to see you. Pretty crappy weekend for me. I was supposed to go see Kyle race on Friday night at Georgetown. That got canceled. Saturday was supposed to go to Hagerstown and watch Kyle race. That got canceled. And then Sunday was supposed to go to the Cup race and see that. And then that got postponed to Monday. I was unable to go yesterday and watch. So pretty much all I got in this weekend was about 20 minutes of practice at Dover on Saturday. I went up there to the track and I thought it looked like it was clear for practice and qualifying. And right as practice ended, the mist rolled in, and NASCAR ultimately canceled qualifying. Crappy weekend for Kyle Larson as well. 32nd place finish at Dover. I think we've seen more finishes in the 30s this year than I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just been so unlucky, and let's not waste any time. Let's talk about the Ross Chastain incident.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the beginning, practice, he was really fast. He finished second, I think it was in practice, and then, qualifying, like you said, rained out, had to finish back in 18th. Rocket ship car all day. I mean, he just made his way through the pack pretty quick in stage one. He got all the way to the top five, I think, within like 80 something laps or so. He was kind of hanging around that top five spot. But then, of course, Melon Man does what he does best, always causing some sort of incident. He just kind of drove into Burning Pool. He spun out, just completely dumped him pretty much. And of course, Larson, he was running the top. He was committed to the top side, couldn't really go anywhere. And how the Larson luck goes, he just ended up in inside pool. His whole front panel was just destroyed. They had to take the car back to the garage after they could see that the car could maintain speed. It was down like 30 something laps, but I mean, it's just ridiculous, dude. It's like week in and week out. It's always something with Chastain. Guys always have something to say. Oh, he needs his butt whooped. Someone needs to do something to him. Nothing happens. Chastain gets out of the car all the time. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But week after week, he just continues to do it and nothing happens. I think something needs to happen with penalty, just some sort of I don't know, fine. Something just needs to happen so he can stop doing this. I mean, I kind of feel like because it's a guy like Brennan Poole and he's not like a regular cup guy, he just feels like he can run him over and it just doesn't matter. But I mean, he was battling there with Dylan. They were having a good battle for the spot and just came in and dumped him for no reason. It's just getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, and I think the point of it, like my one thing that really irritates me about the thing, first of all, I'm not gonna hold back. I think Ross is an idiot. I think he's a complete idiot. It's just it's getting old. I'm tired of watching it. It doesn't. It's not a clean racing product that we see out on the track. Every once in a while, if a guy runs into somebody and something happens, it's racing. But at this point, Ross has done this for 2 years now. It's been 2 years of him just running into everybody on track, making nonstop enemies, Kyle included. He's got more enemies than anybody out there on the circuit. So NASCAR NASCAR needs to do something about it. I mean, I don't think that just because he never admits to doing anything intentionally doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve a penalty. Like we saw the Denny Hamlin incident with I think it was JJ Yeley actually driving the 15 car. I think that I don't remember where that race. If it was that, I don't know which was that at Richmond. I don't remember which one it was, or maybe it was before Richmond. But where he spun and then he went and talked on his podcast after about how he intentionally spun him out or whatever. And it was like it's like he got penalized for that. So obviously he was clearly showing intent, but Ross has done stuff tens of times and never admits intention and then just never suffers any consequences from it. It's getting pretty old, and I think the drivers are getting fed up about it, but nobody's doing anything.
Not only just him, it's just getting old with Larson. I mean, week in and week out, car capable of winning the race, just hooked up every single week, and it's just some idiot coming by and just ruins his entire week. And I mean, we lost out on a bunch of valuable points, and yeah, we're locked in the playoffs, but it'd be nice to finish first and get that bonus points going into the playoffs, and
Right.
that's just ruining our chances. And then Chastain, every time he does something like this, he always gets rewarded with like a top five finish. He finished
Yeah.
second yesterday. He's
I was
leading
so
the
glad he
points
didn't
now.
win.
Yeah, I was glad he didn't win. We saw there, I think it was with 20 laps to go. Larson kind of got a little bit of payback.
Right.
Obviously, Larson's not going to go up and dump him. We would love to see that and just ruin him, put him in the wall. But he kind of slowed him down a lot, getting up to him in the corner. Truex got a lot of head or a lot of speed there in the corner. Got ahead by a good bit. So
What was
that
the
was a little
old?
bit of it.
It was
What
the
was that?
old Chase Elliott at Bristol move, the
Yeah,
Bristol night race. I mean, obviously
mirror
not
driving.
not another Hendrick Motorsports driver winning the race this time around, but you know, helping old Martin Truex out, the Truex sweep this weekend.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to see the Truex boys both go to victory lane at what is their home track, being from New Jersey. So pretty cool to see that. But yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Larson holding up Chastain there at the end, and what would have made it even better, obviously, it would have added some more heat, salt to the wound if they got together there and touched at any point in that interaction there at the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because Kyle's just not one to, cause confrontational. He kind of stays himself. He just kind of plays it smart. So it was kind of cool seeing him mirror drive him a little bit, at least give him a little bit of payback. Didn't get that win, but yeah, like I said, it's just annoying. He always gets these top finishes after, doing something malicious to someone. And I don't know. It's just getting really old. Someone needs to do something to him. Someone needs to put a stop to it, or else it's just going to continue to happen week after week. I mean, it's not just him. I mean, guys are doing it like we talked about, I think last week. LaJoy went on his podcast, I think it was with Kyle Busch, and he said he intentionally, hit him. So it's other guys. It seems like it's just kind of all eyes on Hamlin because he has the big podcast, but no one else really gets any repercussions for their actions for just doing malicious things.
Right. And another point I wanted to like make about the Ross Chastain thing is like it's kind of interesting, I feel like, because I don't know how do you know how old Ross is? I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but it's like he's kind of new to like racing on the top level in the Cup Series, but he's not like a young guy like a Ty Gibbs or a Harrison Burton or somebody like that like, if they make a mistake and do something, guys can, like, older drivers, more experienced drivers, veterans can come in and kind of like use it as a teaching moment. But when it's somebody like Ross that's however old he is, it's like I feel like you can't really like use it as a teaching moment. You like he's a older guy, he should know better, and it's just like sorry doesn't cut it anymore. It's
Yeah, he's
frustrating.
30. He's 30 years old. To answer your
30.
question,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not the same. It's Kyle's 30 as well, right? And it's like
yeah.
so it's like you're racing against somebody the same age as you, so you expect them to kind of race with the same respect. And you know, I know like over the past year and stuff, people have complained about Ty Gibbs, but Ty Gibbs is what, 18 years old or whatever, or 19 years
Uh,
old.
yeah,
It's
he might be like 20 by now, I think.
yeah, it's
So
like
he's super young.
he's super young, and you know he's kind of had a silent year so far to this point, but he's not been making enemies out there for sure. I mean, when he was racing up front, definitely in the Xfinity series last year, he made some enemies, but this year he's been clean, and I've kind of silently been watching him a little bit, and he's starting to knock off some more consistent finishes, and I think he sits right outside of the playoff bubble as we speak right now.
Yeah, I think he had some sort of like top 10 streak the last few races for I don't know, 3 or 4 races. He strung it some top 10. So I mean he's been doing pretty good and yeah, I mean Truex getting the win. He's one of the few Toyota drivers that I don't mind seeing win. I kind of like Truex. And actually today,
Yeah.
next year we'll be having some more Toyota drivers. Some surprising news. Legacy is actually switching to Toyota next year, which kind of came out of nowhere. What do you think about it?
Dude, I mean, I haven't looked too much into it yet. I just saw the notification come across my phone this afternoon at work, and I was honestly surprised. I never thought, obviously Jimmy Johnson ran with Honda in IndyCar with Chip Ganassi Racing over the past 2 seasons away from the Chevrolet teams there, so kind of that maybe a part of it where he wasn't connected as closely to Chevrolet over the past 2 years in IndyCar. But on the NASCAR side of things, I never thought that we would see Jimmy Johnson not associated with the bow ties. And now next year, Legacy's moving over to Toyota, and It's a surprising move. I mean, I don't know if maybe it has something to do with performance. I don't know if it's information sharing stuff that is they're basing this decision off of, where in the Chevrolet camp maybe Legacy doesn't have the access to information that a team like Hendrick has, and maybe with Toyota they have access to more information and data and stuff that's going to help them get out there and compete. I mean, really this year, not trying to be smart, but Legacy Motor Club has not looked good at all. I mean, they've been pretty much on the level of like Spire. I mean, they
Yeah,
haven't
they've
been
definitely
fast.
taken a step back. They've
Right.
taken a step back for sure. Gregson, I saw an interesting stat. I kind of cheer on Gregson. I followed him in Xfinity a little bit, so I kind of root for him. In his 28 Cup starts, he's made contact or been in an incident in 18. And
Jeez.
that's like the all-time record through 28 starts. And that's not including like mechanical stuff. So 10 only 10 races of the 28 he wasn't involved in an incident. So yeah, it's just crazy. Eric Jones, he got that win at the Southern 500 last year. Expected him to kind of improve and string together some better finishes, but just has not been looking good for Legacy so far. And maybe they're seeing that and kind of switching gears and seeing if switching to Toyota will change anything. Maybe it has to do with, I forget what year it was, but we saw the news about that Chevy will stop producing the Camaro in the next few years. But I think it's good to go next year. But I think in 2025 it'll be a completely different style. You won't have the Camaro anymore. So who knows what that's going to be? Whether bring back an Impala, who knows? There's a ton of different things you could do. So maybe that has something to do with it. But who knows? It's going to be kind of weird not seeing a Chevy on the 43 having a Toyota. But so some people say that the Toyota is actually it's more made in the USA than Chevy and Ford. It's kind of more American. So we'll see if it changes anything.
I don't know about that, but I'm still pulling for Dodge to come back into NASCAR. I think that would be pretty cool to see in the next couple of years. But kind of looking ahead to the rest or the upcoming NASCAR schedule, we've got Kansas coming up this weekend, a track that Kyle should be pretty fast at. Darlington the week after, another track that Kyle's been quick at. It was announced this past week. Kyle's going to be doing double duty at Darlington, going to be in the Xfinity car for Colleague Racing, the number 10 car. Kind of a surprise for me. I mean, we already knew Kyle's doing double duty in the fall at Darlington, but going to be running double duty twice at Darlington this year. What are your thoughts on that, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be cool. He always does good at Darlington. He almost got that win last year. He kind of battled with Creed at the wall. That was one of the better finishes I saw in Xfinity last year. But yeah, I think he's just trying to capture this win at Darlington, kind of prepare for Cup. He said after the Martinsville interview, they were talking about what tracks he really wants to win at, and he said Darlington is one that he wants to take over. He's been really good there. I think he has a few second place finishes. Always runs good in the top five. Almost got it in 2021 when he had that wall ride that Hamlin won that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think the Xfinity races he's just trying to get the experience for the Cup race so he can try to attack that and get that win.
Right, and also like last year, I think in the throwback race last year, I think Kyle had one of the best cars and then had an engine problem. So it's like I think he's got the chance, like he's got the capability of winning there for sure. I think he's shown that in past years and past races. I mean, probably should have won the Xfinity race in the fall last year. The one you talked about with Sheldon Creed, that was a really good race. The Hamlin one, that was a really good race. He's been close a couple of times, so I think he's gonna get one this year. 4 times to win at Darlington, 4 chances, and I think he'll definitely win one. How many do you think he wins out of the four? How many races do you predict?
I mean, I could care less about the Xfinity in
I
all
mean, me
honesty, as
too,
long as he
but
gets the Cup wins. But
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, dude. Just the way he's been racing this year, Rex aside, I think if he just could get this bad luck out of the way, he could have had a way better, or still could have way better year than 2021. I mean, he's the laps led leader. He has 2 wins under his belt. Like I said earlier, he's been capable of winning every single race. So, I mean, if we just didn't have this bad luck, we could be seeing history through this, small amount of races that we've already raced this year. I mean, who knows? There's still time. Hendrick's been super fast at every single track this year, pretty much. So I don't think anyone's touching him. It's just bad luck with Larson just getting in someone else's mess. It's just nothing he can do about it. Just really unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. Just I think my biggest thing right now is like it's kind of like keeping me sane through all of this is we have two wins. So it's like obviously like you talked about, we want to go up higher in the standings and in the actual point standings and get those bonus points going into the playoffs. But I think having those two wins is it's like it's a little bit of a safety net because like last year where we had some bad luck in the middle part of the season, we only had one win. It was only the one win at Auto Club, and that was we had such a long stretch before Kyle picked up his second win of the year at Watkins Glen. So I think that makes me feel a little bit better. And obviously the fact that the car has a lot of speed. I mean, last year there were races like we talked about a couple weeks ago on the podcast where the car was just not good and Kyle was not even competitive, but every single week Kyle was, I mean, I could tell in Kyle's post race interview he was bummed, like super bummed because he honestly could tell like he had the car that was the car to beat at Dover and multiple other races this year. He said, I have the best car every single week, and he just has no luck. So I think the luck will turn around for sure. It always does, and it's just frustrating right now, but really good stretch of races coming up. Kansas, Darlington, North Wilkesboro. I mean, I'm assuming that'll be like the short track package there for the All Star race, the new short track package. So like that'll be probably a good one for Hendrick. And then after that, on to the Coke 600, where Kyle probably should have won last year.
Yeah, great stretch of races coming up for him. I mean, he historically he's done really good at it. Dover, one of his best tracks. I think he definitely could have got it done for sure. Kansas, he has one win going into it. I think he has like 8 top 10s out of 16 starts. So solid track for him. Last year, I think he got the second place finish to Kurt Busch in that one race.
Yep.
So he's historically been really good there. So, um, cool tracks coming up to see. We got some dirt racing, like you said, double duty atomic coming up. Kokomo tomorrow for the high limits canceled or postponed. Actually,
Yep.
they didn't cancel it, so they're going to make up that date. But I mean, the weather lately, it's just been plaguing everything, including dirt, mainly dirt. I mean, just everything's getting canceled, postponed. So, really unfortunate. Kokomo is a cool track to see. So, hopefully they find a good rescheduled date sometime soon, so we can see that. But yeah, just those two double duty at Atomic with Lucas and Circuit of Champions. Excited for that. Going to be a busy one for Kyle, and then head straight in Kansas.
Yep. And obviously, some people have also been asking too about like, because I know World of Outlaws sprint cars are at Eldora on Friday night and Saturday night. I mean, I guess technically, like Saturday night's definitely off the table for Kyle because he's running or practicing qualifying for NASCAR is like 5 p.m. Eastern time in Kansas. So like, definitely could not do Eldora Saturday night. Maybe Friday night, it's a possibility. I doubt it, but I think I think there's a chance. I mean, there's the I think Paul Silva like flying out here to run. He, they wanted to run Kokomo on tomorrow night and then go on to Atomic. Maybe now that Kokomo is canceled, maybe it's like they want to make a two-race deal out of the trip. I don't know. Also, I think Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is at Ponderosa Speedway in Kentucky on Friday night, so maybe he follows the six team down there. I'm not sure. It's definitely it's always like looking at the possibilities for the races for Kyle and kind of just seeing what what happens. I mean, we know some stuff when it's announced, but other stuff it's kind of just wait and see.
Yeah, it's just pretty much just wait until basically until the entry list on my race passes in. A lot of times you don't know until that happens, and then we just kind of frantically post the race day, let everyone know so they know who's racing that night. But yeah, I mean we kind of always look at where the dirt races are to where he is at the NASCAR tracks. If it's close, if he'll be able, driving distance, all that stuff. So we'll see. I mean, as we know, he likes to just out of nowhere just kind of race whenever he wants if possible. So we'll see. Hopefully we get some more late model racing. I don't think it's really happening right now with the schedule. I don't think there's really many late model races that he could do, but I think it's kind of winding down a little bit. We'll see. But we still have that high limit sprint car series. At least we have those confirmed races, so we can always look forward to that as long as the weather allows us to see it. But yeah, I mean, excited. I know a little bit of news that I did mention earlier. He was at Aero McLaren today
Yep.
testing in the seat. I know you're excited to see that. He was getting his seat fitted. So That's exciting to see. Next year, 2024 and 2025, being the Indy 500, exciting stuff. I think he'll do good as long as Ross Chastain isn't on the track.
It was
And
funny, the video that he posted. I don't know if you saw it, Dylan. The watermelon in the background. People were pointing it out in the video that he took inside. He was like talking. He had like a watermelon sitting on the table behind him in the background. People were saying it was like a Ross Chastain Easter egg in the Kyle Larson IndyCar video.
yeah, I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and look at it. That's pretty funny.
but uh, but yeah, the month of May is among us. Kyle Larson is getting his seat fitted with Aaron McLaren, and man, it would be. I know they said like already he's not gonna get on the track this May and do any testing, but I don't know. We've had times before where we've heard Kyle's not supposed to be at this race or supposed to be at that race, and then he shows up and he's there. So maybe one day this May, maybe we'll see Kyle testing an IndyCar at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I hope, I wish, but doubtful. But the month of May is among us. The Indy 500, the end of the month. Super pumped for that, and kind of just all eyes on 2024 for me.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about IndyCar, obviously, but isn't the most likely test spots like Texas and Homestead for him?
I would say so, probably. Yeah, like when Jimmy Johnson did his rookie test or rookie like oval test 2 years ago. It was at Texas, and I remember there were talks about him potentially doing it at Homestead too. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Like, I mean, so Texas is like a current IndyCar track, so that makes sense. But like Homestead's not a current IndyCar track, so maybe that's just like a preference thing. And also, I guess Homestead probably would be like a preference for Kyle because it's obviously like a track he likes, and then also on top of that, it's a symmetrical track, so it's kind of like Indianapolis where you don't have like a tri-oval like you do at Texas, so you probably can get a better feel for the car, I would assume, at Homestead, just not worrying about that tri-oval section, but who knows.
Go out there and rip the top at Homestead in an IndyCar.
Well, it's funny because like and that's one thing I said like about Kyle running IndyCar, and if anybody watched the IndyCar race at Texas a couple weeks ago, I think probably a month ago now, um, there was a lot more drivers running the top. There was a lot more drivers that were like in previous years, guys didn't want to run the top. It was kind of single file around the bottom, and then last year when Jimmy Johnson ran the race at Texas and finished sixth and passed nearly the entire field on the top, nobody thought it could be done. And then this year, everybody comes out there, people are running the top, they're running side by side the whole race. It was an awesome race. And I think like if Jimmy could do that, Kyle's definitely gonna try and make moves that are like out there and crazy and people aren't really expecting them. So I think that's something that Kyle does have an advantage over everybody else because he's willing to try stuff, and that I think that comes like totally from his dirt background, just willing to go out there and literally do whatever it takes to try and pass the guy in front of him, where some of the guys are just content with following behind the guy in front of them.
Yeah, you can see guys just following single file on the bottom, and Kyle just zooms out of nowhere, like, what the hell is he doing?" Just going through the pack, but, yeah, it's exciting stuff. I'm really excited to see him in the IndyCar. That'd be awesome to get that and the double duty at the Coke 600. That would be crazy to get both wins, sweep the weekend, so, really looking forward to that. Wish he was running it this year, this month in May, but, we'll have to wait till next year, and at least it's confirmed for 2024 and 25. So we'll have at least 2 years of Larson Indy 500, two tries to get it done. So only time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah, and I want to have coverage from both of those events, Dylan. I think Kyle needs to put us on the jet with him, leaving from Indy next year in 2024, heading to Charlotte. We need to get some good coverage for the channel. That event, I would love to be at both of those races. It would be like kind of feel like we're doing the double too with Kyle, the content creator double.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. If anything, if not that, one of us at Indy, which would be you, and then maybe I would be at the Coke 600, kind of mash the video together, get some good content. But yeah, that would be an awesome weekend for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I love to. I would definitely love to do that. Looking forward to 2024, and but we got a lot of stuff before that. A lot of stuff before that. A lot of good things. I know it's been a crappy week. A lot of stuff canceled. Kind of some bad luck for Kyle, but definitely a lot more racing ahead. Like Dylan said, Atomic Thursday night double duty All Star Circuit Champions Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Pumped for that. And if anything else comes about, if like the race is on Friday night, we'll definitely post that on all of our social media. And I think that pretty much wraps up today's show, unless you have anything else, Dylan.
That should pretty much wrap it up. Like we said, on to Kansas. Hopefully Ross is out of the way. We get to qualify up front and we're good to go. But yeah, until then, just obviously as always, stay tuned to our social media for any surprise events that always happens. Twitter's your place to look. Turn on post notifications in case we post anything urgent about Kyle, any breaking news, any of that. And we appreciate all the support as always. Appreciate you guys tuning in the podcast every week, and we'll see you next week in next week's podcast.
Absolutely. So if you're listening to this video on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please follow our podcast so you don't miss a thing. Have a great rest of the week, everyone, and we will see you in the next episode.